I'm in IT and information technology and security.
Okay.
And so I came out to be an IT manager for a software company.
Okay.
And and I've been in that industry now for, I hate to say, but 28 years.
The older you get, the more things you get to experience and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Service has always been important to me.
Yeah.
And as I got into and started serving, whether in my neighborhood or at the schools, whatever it was, I just noticed the people I interacted with, my neighbors and people in the community, were very service oriented.
Okay.
You may not see that on social media, or you may not see it. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and my mom was big into politics in the sense that she talked a lot about, and she went out and she gave her time and things like that. I didn't make it through the primary.
Yeah.
But I got appointed by the mayor then and the council at that time on the planning commission. It seemed that the more that I realized that, hey, to me, politics isn't just about an issue on certain policies and things. It's about actually serving someone. And so there's little things like in the beginning of my career, we started streaming, and I collaborated with my fellow council members and brought it, and said, hey, let's work together and see if we can stream this. The thing I've really enjoyed is working with either scout groups or going into schools and classrooms and being able just to talk about local government and answer questions and be involved in youth council where they have a voice. And the bigger part is that the city owns the infrastructure.
Okay.
It's not owned by some third party or private entity, but we, the people here in Lehi, we own the infrastructure. It's not a tax increase on everyone.
Okay.
It's not a fee that everyone has to pay.
Sure.
It's only those that are using. We now have 8 or 9 large natural gas generators.
Okay.
Huge. I mean, they're the size, some of them are the size of almost a school bus. They're just big. We can start generating our own power and help kind of help that spike not go so high. And lo and behold, we're putting fiber in. And so wherever that conduit's still viable, we're using that to put our fiber in. But we knew that there was a lot of residents in that area that didn't want it. Hey, if you deny this, tomorrow morning we're
getting a lawsuit.
It's hard, right? Because there's a lot of emotion to the residents, and there's a lot of speculation of what they think is not going to be good about the project.
Well, I'm not sure people understand property rights and I mean, hey, sure, we'd all like Lehi to stay as is once we move in.
You can imagine the chaos that would cause. We need to preserve an area that's attractive for the commercial retail to come in and serve that population. Well, we meet because if you're elected and sit on the city council, it's a legislative body, and you create the laws, you can edit the laws, you can remove the laws. I mean, you can do a lot of things. You can influence change a lot that way or whatnot, because it's, and so anyway, so that's why we show up. But they try to be very personable. And what I want to do as mayor is increase that level of, I guess some would call it customer service. But one of the things about Lehi and that small community, I've had a neighbor call me one night, and it was 10:30 after I got out of city council meeting, that I could call him back. And I was kind of like, oh, should I call him? But I did.
Sure.
And he had water leaking into his basement, and he had it for over a month. He wasn't looking for the city to fix it.
Sure.
He wasn't, but he was looking for, can you help guide me as to what the problem is so I don't dig up my whole front yard?
So making government more approachable, I guess, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Like where, hey, like you're not just some entity, that's like, oh, I don't know, we have to go through a bureaucratic mess to get help. You're just saying, hey, no, I mean, I know you,
I want to create more or clearer ways of how you reach out to the city. And I like, if they were to call me, whether they knew me or not, obviously I'm not the one that can go over and fix the issue directly.
Correct.
But I want them to have the same experience whether they knew a council member or they called the council member or not. I think it would really help. I think it would help that feeling across the city that, hey, Lehi City is really responsive and approachable. I mean, you think about the amount of money it takes to fund, the I-15 widening project was $500 million. We took a lot of high density out of the canyons.
Okay.
Because as we looked at that and thought, geez, could you imagine having apartments and townhomes clear up in those canyons?
Yeah.
The city will take the impact fees, the park impact fees from that development, and we'll build a park. Well, those impact fees may be a total of, $1 million, $1.5 million, but a park costs $3 to $5 million. So one of the other challenges that we have is we have a lot of acreage and open space, but then you got to have someone to maintain it.
Sure.
And that's another part where we really struggle right now, is having the staff to maintain everything. The baseball fields are in shortage. Now pickleball is really picking up. A baseball field, I think, is anywhere from $3 million to build.
Wow.
But we have a lot of kids that like to participate, and a lot of kids outside of Lehi that like to participate too. I also want us to understand that, hey, we may not all get 100% of what we think is the right direction, but man, if we're working together and we're going, majority in the direction that we all can get behind, I think there's a lot more strength in that than trying to argue over the bits and pieces that we're not agreeing on. I feel like I have a unique sense about community and service to the one, and hearing the one's voice and responding to that person. But the thing is, for me, it's like I know who the experts are that have the solutions. I know what solutions are in place. I know which ones we're trying to work on. We may not all see everything the same way, but you know what? We can treat each other with respect. We can express our voice and be heard, and know that it was valued. What can we do to help small and medium business owners? How can we help someone that wants to do a startup? Because there's a tremendous entrepreneurial spirit here in Lehi. It is amazing the talent that we have here in Lehi, from youth to adults.
Sure.
I mean, it is amazing. And one thing that I love about most of the candidates is they have that same sincere desire to just serve. I want local politics to stay nonpartisan.
Okay.
The last thing we need is to become more divisive in the sense of bringing partisan politics into it. Our own opinions and our own way of looking at things is enough to bring diversity into how we make decisions. I think it will drive that really sacred, really nice, nonpartisan local feel away from local politics. But if you start to split it into districts, well, then it's like you just serve this one part of Lehi City.
I think that's what makes things better, is when all right, let's come together.
Yeah. And let's just all be adults and say, hey, we have to agree on the fact. The facts are what the facts are. But the reality is, it's there, and so what do we do going forward, right? It's a regional issue that we need to work on together. So many good people that want to foster that community spirit that Lehi was built on. And my little, I guess, motto or whatever for my campaign is, I've got you. And that isn't to mean that I've got you and I'm going to fix every one of your problems or whatever. All of our voices are equal.
Sure.
And that's, I just want people to feel like they live in that great community. My wife said to me one time, listen to understand before speaking to be understood, or before being understood. And that's what I think people find value in, is being approachable.